going on, Raider Nation? It is JT coming at you with another episode of the Raidercast, your podcast for everything silver and black. Before I start today's video, I just want to shout out Tom Grossi for the Grossi Raid last night. That was unbelievable. It was, surprising. It took me a little bit to notice it because my chat is slow. Everything's slow, but once I noticed it, it was just like, I was like, whoa, there's no way there's as many people in here. Like, I think it peaked around like 200, 300 people in the chat, watching my stream, saying hello, liking, subscribing. Almost at 200 subscribers now. I'm about 7 away, I think. So if you're here, don't forget to like and subscribe. But I cannot thank Tom Grossi enough. Go give him a sub. His link will be in the description below. He's an awesome content creator. He mostly does Packers stuff, but he covers all NFL, and he's just a great YouTuber, and I can't thank him enough for that last night during halftime. That was just awesome. But now it's time to move on to the topic of today's video, and that is me absolutely huffing the Hopium right now. This is me right now just intoxicating with the Hopium. Basically, I feel like we're in a really good spot. Despite the fact that we're 1-4, I am not down yet. Not only have I seen people talk about how we were 1-4 going into December last year. From November to December, we were 1-4, and we still made the playoffs. There's still a possibility of making the playoffs. We're not out of it yet. It sucks to see that we're 1-4 to start the season, but getting that win against Denver and looking like we should have beat the Chiefs on Monday Night Football in Arrowhead, I think we're okay. There's a lot of factors that go into it, and I'm going to talk about it in today's video. But first, I want to start off with what I think the offense is doing that we should continue doing to win the next, games that we need to win. Josh Jacobs has been an absolute beast the past 2 games. He's averaging well over 5 a carry at this point. He had over 150 yards last night, his new career high after topping his career high last week against the Broncos. He's been an absolute tear this past few weeks. He's been a beast. He's been the reason why our offense works. He's just been a monster. Davante Adams, he had that, missed catch, you could say, on third down. He made every attempt to catch that ball. It just didn't happen. Shit happens even to the best wide receivers. But he's been excellent in the past game. Wasn't involved for 2 of our losses versus Arizona and Tennessee. Or was it Tennessee and Denver? I don't remember which ones, I'm not going to lie. No, it was Arizona and Tennessee. He wasn't involved a lot. But against Denver, against Kansas City, against LA, he was very much involved. He very much caught the ball. He caught, passes. He caught touchdowns. He had 2 absolutely insane deep balls thrown to him last night from Derek Carr that were beauties. I think their connection is just starting to blossom to something that we should have seen at the beginning of the season, but we're just seeing now, which is great. Our offensive line is looking a lot better. Kansas City pass rush, nothing to scoff at. They held up pretty well overall. Honestly, could have been an easy forced fumble strip sack by Chris Jones, who's their best defensive lineman, but that didn't happen. That call was weird, but it didn't happen. Their defense, their pass, their secondary is not good, which is why Davante Adams feasted. But the fact that Renfro and Waller have not been performing super well, Matt Collins only had that one big game against Tennessee. It's been basically the Davante Adams show like we predicted, and as our wide receiver 1. Josh Jacobs as a running back 1. Derek Carr playing well enough without the mistakes that he had the first 3 weeks. I think we're on the right track offensively. O-line is starting to gel. The run attack is insanely good right now. The pass blocking, still a lot to be desired, but a lot more improved from the first 3 weeks of the season. Moving on to the other side of the ball, the defense. A lot to be desired from the defense. Denzel Perryman's been playing just, he's been injured for 2 games, only played 3 games, but he's looked good to great in those games. He got a sack last night against Patrick Mahomes. Nate Hobbs had a rough game last night, but overall he's been really good in the secondary. Easily our best player in the secondary right now. Deron Harmon's been a decent veteran safety presence. Abrams been playing decently. Diablo's been playing decently. Murray's been playing not that good at all. Yasin's been playing decently. D-line, Chandler Jones is looking a lot better now. Defensive tackles, again, a lot to be desired. Max Crosby's, dark horse defensive player of the year right now. He's been on an absolute tear. He's on pace for 20 sacks. He's on pace right now for insane stats. And even if he doesn't reach those heights and he gets close to it, he's still gonna have insane stats. That's just how good he's playing right now and how good his season has been so far. Easily top 3 defensive end currently right now. No one comes close in terms of defensive ends, in terms of his run-stopping ability. And on top of that, he's still rushing the passer. He still has 6 sacks, tied for first in the league right now. He's well above everyone else in tackles for loss with 11. He has an insane number of tackles. He's number 1 amongst defensive ends for just tackles in general. He's had a lot of pressures, a lot of QB hits. He's just at the top of his game right now, and it's amazing to see. But he's the only one on the defense that's actually performing. A lot of potential. It's a very young defense, and overall, Abrams young, Yasin's young, Hobbs is young, Murrig is young. A lot of young pieces are there, but they're not there yet, which is leading to us to have a very bottom-feeding defense, which sucks because I thought we'd be a lot better. But again, it takes time. A young core, still a lot to build on. The talent and the possibilities are there for the defense. It's just not coming together right now, like I said, because they're a young core. We need defensive tackle help. We keep signing corners. We keep signing wide receivers, but we're not getting defensive tackle help, which we desperately need right now. Ziegler needs to make a call to a team like the Panthers, who are probably doing a fire sale right now. Get Derek Brown. Get Matt Yondis. I don't even know how to say his last name, but you know who I'm talking about. I tweeted about it yesterday, or 2 days ago, I should say now. But we need defensive tackle help desperately. Linebackers looking rough. Martinez and Perryman should be a fine enough, inside linebacker duo, but we do not have good pass protection linebackers, good coverage linebackers. Diablo, still don't know if he's going to get there. He's been overall decent. He's had bad moments, he's had good moments, but he hasn't been consistent enough to really say we have a good pass, good coverage linebacker. Jayon Brown's hurt right now. He hasn't been good at all, in my opinion. There's just a lot to be desired from the defense right now, which is very disappointing. Special teams is fine. Carlson's on a tear. He's 7 kicks away from having our NFL record, or tying an NFL record with Adam Vinatieri for most consecutive field goals. So knock on wood, he reaches that. But so all that combined, now we're going to talk about coaching. I think McDaniels has done just fine this past few weeks. He's done good play calls. He went for the throat. We want aggressive. We don't want, to put it lightly, any pussyfooting with this coaching staff. He wants to go for wins. He wants to get wins. The two-point conversion I was critical of yesterday made sense, because otherwise the Chiefs go for it on 4th down instead of punt it away. They don't give us that chance to get the ball back. They probably win that game with a field goal if we get the first point. But because they were up, they're thinking we just got to get defensive stop. And McDaniels trusted the offense to either get the points on the 2-point conversion or get the points after. It didn't happen. That's execution on the player's part. He coached a good game yesterday, despite what a lot of people are saying. For some reason, people are hating on McDaniels, hating on Patrick Graham, and they're like, it's coaching. Coaching needs to be better. There's only so much a coach can do before the players need to be held responsible for them to execute. Hunter Renfrow running into Devontae Adams like that, inexcusable. Darren Waller, yes, he's been injured, but he needs to have better games. Nate Hobbs needs to not give up those one-on-ones like that to Hardman and MVS. Murray needs to not get cooked for 4 different touchdowns against Travis Kelce. There's a lot of pieces that need to be better. Renfrow has been lacking this season. Darren Waller has been lacking this season. Carr has been playing fine after the first week. He's been playing okay, which is good. He's still a top half QB right now. Not top 10, because he hasn't have the stats to say that, but he's been playing good enough that we should win football games. And we're just not yet. But I'm going to bring us to our schedule coming up and discuss the future. I don't like looking too far ahead, but I'm going to do it anyway. So here we go. Let's take a look at the schedule. This is the first up here. This is obviously preseason, so we're not looking at that. We're looking at this. 24-19, 29-23 overtime. 24-22, 32-23, 30-29. We are literally this close to being 5-0. And you know what's crazy? Is that last year we'd probably be 4-1 right now. Be going to the bye like, oh, we're so good, and then we'd shit the bed for the next 2 months and miss playoffs. This team could be different. I'm just saying. There's a very real possibility we, instead of having the collapse mid-season and missing playoffs, we have a solid start, build up to it, have the bye week, and go on a tear. Because let's take a look at the next few games. Let's take a look now. You have Houston, week 7. Very extremely winnable game. Texans look like awful right now. Somehow they beat the Jaguars. Don't know how, but they were the last winless team in the league. So they not good. This used to be a trap game. I don't think we lose this game. Josh Jacobs, even if Devontae Adams gets suspended and we're down to Matt Collins, Renfro, and Jesper Horsted as our receiving core, I think we'll be fine. Jacobs will run it down their throat and we'll win the game. I'm not really scared of the Texans. And maybe I shouldn't be that confident, but how we played last night, if the fact you think the Houston Texans could keep up with the Chiefs like that? No. I don't think it's going to happen. New Orleans, very winnable game, looked very weak recently. They've had a lot of injuries. Their O-line looks awful, so I think our D-line could actually feast for once. Their offense looks very shaky. Anyway, Jacksonville, very winnable game. They looked okay. They have 2 wins. They're a lot better than they have been, but Trevor Lawrence, he had the week or two of being really good, and now he's played like shit against Houston. So we'll see how they do. That's 4 weeks away, but Jacksonville, again, extremely winnable game. Indianapolis, extremely winnable. They barely beat the Broncos in overtime. They tied with the Texans. They somehow beat the Chiefs, which we couldn't do, but that was a fluke game if I ever saw one. They got lucked out by a Chris Jones penalty for talking too much. I don't know. They don't scare me at all. JT has not been the same. Their offense looks awful. Matt Ryan looks bad. Their defense is solid. But, again, I think Max Crosby can do enough to upset Matt Ryan in that game. Take a look at Denver. And plus, our run defense has been pretty solid this season. Overall, run defense has been pretty good. Denver, again, another winnable game. We already beat them. I don't think we don't beat them again. We beat it's at Mile High. That doesn't matter. We own the Broncos. Seattle. That's a toss-up. Their offense looks very hot right now. Rashad Penny, though, hurt. Their defense looks like trash. Who knows by that point what they look like. They definitely don't look like a team that should be 2-3 right now. They lost to the Saints. Again, these are just not good teams right now. No matter what their record says, these are bad teams. They all have losing records. Seattle has a losing record. Denver has a losing record. Indianapolis, technically 500, but you could very easily call it losing because they tied with the Texans. Jacksonville losing record. New Orleans losing record. Houston losing record. Losing record teams, and by the time we face all of them, they very well could still be losing record teams. We have a losing record, but to think we can't beat those teams is ridiculous. I said on the pregame show with NJ Raider Nation that the most important thing we do against the Chiefs is we be competitive, and if we get to the point where we win or almost beat them, that gives me a lot of confidence going forward. Can we beat the Chargers now? If we go on a tear, so let's just say we win 5 out of 6 of this game's minimum, which I think will happen. 5 out of 6, so that would take us to what? 6-5 going to the Chargers game. I think 7-4, 6-5 going to that Chargers game. We end up being 8-4 and 7-5, 6-6, 7-5. There's a lot of possibilities of that Chargers game, but to think we can't beat them in Allegiant, the Chargers, a little ridiculous. Rams, again, looking really weak. Their offense looks atrocious. Their defense is their only saving grace, and even then, not that great. But this is a short week game between 2 LA teams, so we'll see how that goes. New England, again, another losing record. Another not very good team. They just shut out the best offense. They used to be the best offense in the league, but it's the Lions. They're still the Lions. As much as I love them, they're still the Lions. I mean, I'm not very convinced of Bailey Zappi by that point. Mac Jones should be back. I'm not convinced that they're a really good team. I think our defense could do enough to win us that game, in all honesty. Pittsburgh. Let's take a look at Pittsburgh. I mean, I'm going really far, but I'm just trying to get that point across. We have winnable games. We are favored in the next 11 out of 12 of our games. It's still possible. It's very much possible we still make the playoffs. And say, because we're favored and we win those games, that means we are 12-5 to end the season. Honestly, at this point, at minimum, probably 9-8. Which might not be playoffs, but you never know. This AFC is looking really weird, looking really weak. A lot of parity. It's like the Bills and the Chiefs, and then everyone else is just fighting for scraps. The NFC South looks atrocious, even though we lost to the Titans. Miami Dolphins are hurt. Bengals look like trash. Ravens look pretty good, but they blew games. Browns, who knows about them? They've blown games to weird opponents. They don't have Deshaun Watson yet. There's just a lot of games. I'm telling you, a lot of games that we could win moving forward that I think can happen. But again, I might just be smoking the Hopium. So tell me down in the comments if I'm just smoking the Hopium or if you're trying to see where I'm coming from. We've built upon this week after week, and we reached a point where we almost beat one of the best teams in the league, the Kansas City Chiefs. We didn't do it, but we're this close. And to think that we can't beat those teams going forward, unless they somehow all start playing really well, I think we can go on a tear. That's my belief. I'm feeling really good about this team. I'm ready to get heartbroken again. And if we get heartbroken again, oh my God, that'll be so disappointing. But we'll see. Again, one game at a time. Get the players rested in the bye week. Hopefully Max Crosby has his daughter. Get everyone rested. Get their heads out of that very disappointing loss. And keep looking forward one day, one game at a time. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe. If you stayed to the end, I appreciate you. Again, 7 subscribers away from 200, so I'd greatly appreciate if you subscribed. If not, hope you enjoyed the video. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, Raider Nation.